All right, it's prep time. I am going to be making 3 different dishes at the same time. Like I've always said, I like to be efficient and I try to make a lot of things at once. That way I don't have to spend tons of time in the kitchen during the week. I'm going to be making my keto version of the chicken chowder that my family loves. The usual chowder has potatoes and carrots, and the rest of the ingredients are friendly, but it also has corn and cream of corn. So all of that, it's like a no-no for me, being diabetic. So I'm gonna try to make it using cauliflower. So it's gonna be like a creamy version of it, a little creamier. I've never made it, so I'm just gonna try today. And I am going to add bacon to it because chicken and bacon is a pretty common chowder, and I'm gonna try to make it that way. I put obviously my Latin flavors on it with cilantro and onions and celery and garlic and things like that. I'm also gonna be making a sausage and seafood paella type of thing. I'm gonna be using the spicy Mexican style cauliflower rice from Trader Joe's. Never used it before. It has some jalapenos on it. I guess if you don't find them like this, it's easy to kind of make your own using similar ingredients, and I'll be listing that. And I like putting shrimp and spicy sausage on that. So those are gonna be more for like lunches and things like that. And for the chowder, I got a whole chicken and I'm gonna boil the whole thing, and I'm gonna use half for the chowder and half for buffalo chicken dip because my family loves the cheese wraps with the buffalo chicken dip for like quick lunches. So that will be 3 different meals, and I'm gonna see how much I'm gonna get out of it. So the whole chicken goes in the stock pot with water, and I am that's salt, and I'm also boiling 2 heads of cauliflower with it. I want the cauliflower to absorb the flavor of the chicken. I cut the whole chicken in 4s, and I added everything, including the liver, the whatever, the organs. They're in there. I'm not gonna add them to the soup, but I want the flavor. I want my stock to be as flavorful as possible. And I'm going to use everything. So I put the skin because I really want the fat on it for my broth for the soup. And once this is cooked, I'm gonna shred it and then use half and half for the soup and half for a buffalo chicken dip. So the original chowder recipe that I used to make calls for cream of celery. And unfortunately, I don't buy canned soups like that anymore because I find that chemicals are not even worth adding to my food. So I'm just gonna use regular celery and onion. I'm gonna saute that and add it to the chicken while it's boiling, so it also adds some flavors. And I'm gonna put a couple of bay leaves on that so it kind of releases the flavor. One ingredient that goes in our Venezuelan chowder, actually I think it was from Peru originally, I don't know, but I've been eating that since I was a kid. It's the soft cheese, the Spanish cheese. They call it Queso de Freir because it's a cheese that doesn't melt. So I make really tiny cubes and put it in the soup, and when you're eating it, it's like this chewy cheese that is not melted, but it's so good. I'm gonna put enough, but I'm not gonna put tons of it because it has 4 grams of carbs per ounce. It's gonna be easy for me to see, so I can always just add less to my own bowl, so I keep my carbs low. But this is like the favorite part. Like this is what my family loves. So I'm gonna be putting, for a large soup like that, maybe like 1/3 of the whole block, and then I'm gonna freeze the rest for next time I make soup because this goes bad pretty quickly, like in a week or so. So I'm gonna freeze the rest and then use it next time I make the soup. While chicken is boiling and I am sauteing the celery and the onion, I am also gonna be prepping the paella, and that's gonna be a separate video, but I'm just letting you know that I am doing 2 different dishes at the same time. Boiling is gonna take about 45 minutes, so why sit around when I can do something else? All right, so my celery and onion are almost done. I like them like that. They're They actually give this soup a little bit of color too. So I am going to add this to the stock that it's here boiling. Still a long way to go. Back to the soup. I have the cauliflower already cooked. It cooked in the chicken water, so I'm assuming it has a lot of flavor. Again, this is the first time ever I'm making this soup like this. So I am going to use my food processor to make it really creamy with the whipping cream. So I'm just gonna be adding a little bit at a time, blend it until more, and until everything is creamy. So I'm going to be collecting it in a different container, and once the chicken is done and I start putting the soup together, I can add this and see if it works. Chicken is all set, boil. I'm just gonna let it cool off because I'm gonna remove the skin. I'm not gonna add the skin, nobody wants soggy skin. And I'm gonna use a mix of chicken breast and chicken thigh and drumsticks, so it has a mix of red, dark meat and white meat. And this is the consistency of the cauliflower that I put in the food processor with whipping cream. I think I used about a little over half a cup. I was just putting it in the food processor, just adding whipping cream until I thought it was enough. Process that, take it out, and repeat until everything was done. So this is gonna make the base really creamy, I think. I haven't decided if I'm gonna add cabbage to it, maybe chopped cabbage, and see if that also gives it more like a soup consistency, and since I don't have potatoes or carrots. This is what I decided on the fly. I knew I was gonna put bacon on the chowder. I have about 8 slices of my favorite bacon, sugar-free, chemical-free. So I'm gonna pan fry them, and then I'm gonna add half a cabbage that is already shredded and cut into smaller pieces, and I'm gonna saute the cabbage on that, and then add the whole thing to the pot with cilantro and then the cheese. I think it's gonna be good. All right, I have cabbage ready, and this is the cheese, and I cut it in like small cubes like this, and I just weigh what an ounce of cheese looks like. This is pretty much the amount, like that. So as long as my bowl has that much, I should be fine. I don't want to overdo the cheese because I know it raises my insulin, so a little bit is okay. I do it mostly for the family. In fact, if you're not insulin resistant and you want to put some cubed carrots like this, that's perfectly fine. I would stay away from the potatoes, use the cauliflower instead. I think it's coming out pretty good, so I'll be the judge of that in a little bit. And then obviously the cabbage is super good for you. But carrots, if you want to do it, that's fine. I don't do it because they have sugar, and I just don't want to do it. Just want to show you quickly the cabbage because it's almost ready to go in the soup. You can actually make it like that as a side dish for fish or chicken. I've made it instead of bacon. I've used pancetta before, and it's very, very good, very tasty. So this is a perfect side dish. And this is what the base is looking like. That's the cheese, see, it doesn't melt. So I already put the cilantro, and as soon as I add the cabbage, and as soon as I shred the chicken, I will give it a taste and see what else it needs. All right, the verdict. This is so creamy. I don't know if you can see. I added both chicken thigh, 1 drumstick, and 1 chicken breast to the soup, and the consistency is perfect. This is not because I made it, but it's one of the best chowders I've ever had. It is diabetic friendly, keto friendly, and just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I hope you make it. Let me know when you do. Bye.